This is ABC 7 News at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. I'm Peter Dubois. Thanks for joining us. First tonight, Maine State Police are working in tandem with the Bar Harbor Police Department to investigate a death. Our Doug Banks has the latest on that investigation.
On Sunday afternoon, the Maine State Police and the Bar Harbor Police began their investigation into a death that occurred in an apartment building on Des Isle Avenue in downtown Bar Harbor here behind me. The cause of death is unknown at this time. We reached out to the Maine State Police and Bar Harbor Police, but details involving how and why this happened are not being released at this time. What we do know, however, what they told us is that the public is not in danger. And once more details come out about how this happened and why this happened, we'll give you those latest details. In Bar Harbor, I'm Doug Banks for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, the man accused of murdering a woman at a liquor store in Waterville on Thursday has been apprehended by police in Arkansas following a chase and an officer-involved shooting. Maine State Police were alerted around 1 a.m. Sunday morning that 20-year-old Spridle Hubiak of Waterville was located by police in Flippin, Arkansas. Hubiak has been wanted in connection with a homicide investigation at Damon's Beverage in Waterville. He's a former employee there and is accused of murdering his former co-worker, 52-year-old Angela Bragg of Waterville. Police say Hubiak was found sleeping in a parking lot in the town of Flippin, Arkansas. He attempted to flee from police in a black 2010 Ford Taurus that he'd been traveling in. The chase ended on the highway in Boone County after police deployed spike mats. When Hubiak exited the vehicle, police say he had an AR-style rifle in hand. A sheriff's deputy opened fire, striking Hubiak multiple times. He was airlifted to the hospital where he is expected to recover. No officers were injured in the shooting. Maine State Police are in contact with Boone County Sheriff's officials to coordinate an investigation going forward. A spokesperson for Maine State Police says once Hubiak is released from the hospital, he'll face an extradition hearing in Arkansas before being brought back to Maine. 2 people are now recovering after spending the night lost in the woods in Steep Falls. A 48-year-old Lymington man and a 55-year-old Baldwin woman were hiking with a friend on Saturday afternoon when they got lost. The 3 spent the night in the woods, and Sunday morning, their friend hiked shoeless to a nearby house to ask for help. That person told a homeowner his friends were still lost in the woods and weren't doing well. Around 3 p.m., a Warden K-9 picked up the missing people's scent, finding the pair stuck in a bog. Wardens started up a fire and gave them food once they saw both hikers were severely hypothermic and unable to walk. Wardens carried the 2 out of the woods, at times through waist-deep water to reach safety. 48-year-old Joseph Carotto and 55-year-old Stacy Gain were both taken to a hospital where they are expected to make a full recovery. So glad they found them safely. Over the holiday weekend, multiple government officials across the country, including Maine Secretary of State Shenna Bellows, were targets of a hoax called swatting. Our Augusta reporter Corey Bouchard spoke with Secretary Bellows about the incident and backlash from her decision barring former President Trump from Maine's GOP primary ballot.
What I want people to understand is that this level of threats and harassment and swatting my home and targeting my family and the people that work for me is unacceptable.
Swatting is when someone calls law enforcement and tells them that there's a dangerous situation like an active shooter or burglar at a residence or location to get a tactical team or SWAT team to raid that person's home. This swatting hoax happened to Secretary of State Shenna Bellows on Friday evening, less than 24 hours after she released her decision barring former President Donald Trump from the Maine GOP primary ballot.
When I completed writing my decision, of course, I was prepared for consequences, including opposition and people being upset or angry. Of course, there are people on both sides. In Maine, we've always agreed to disagree with respect and civility.
Secretary Bellows blames part of the increased threats and violence on a growing political divide fueled by political extremism posing as right-wing news outlets that have increased their attacks over the past few weeks.
Is an effect of the dehumanizing images and the heated rhetoric that has been put forward online targeting me and my family and the people who work for me.
Secretary Bellows says the swatting incident could have gone much worse. Often, swatting incidents are met with injuries, either of those targeted or officers responding to the calls. She says thankfully law enforcement knew how to contact her before they arrived.
They're so professional. They don't tell me whether they agree with or disagree with me, but they are keeping me safe because it is their job.
Secretary Bellows adds law enforcement showed up to her home, did a search of the exterior, and did a search of the interior just to be safe. Former President Trump has until January 5th to file an appeal in Kennebec Superior Court. As of Monday, he has not filed yet. In Augusta, I'm Corey Bouchard with ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
And following her decision to remove Trump from the ballot, Secretary Bellows is facing calls for impeachment from Maine Republican lawmakers. Representative Mike Sobolewski is working with Representative John Andrews and several other House Republicans to file an impeachment inquiry for Secretary Bellows. He claims she ignored the law and made a partisan political decision to disenfranchise Maine voters. However, Senate Republican leader Trey Stewart says the inquiry is not likely to pass.
I started the petition to make sure that we got as much involvement from hardworking Mainers, the voters, as we possibly could. Their voice needs to be heard and they need to be informed on this. We can't have this happen in our state. This is not who we are. We're not a one-sided government, and we've been dealing with this too long.
The only way that that would happen is if a majority in the House decide that that's the right course of action to take. I don't find that likely, given that the majority is controlled by the Democrats and the very people that put the Secretary of State there. What my interest is in is fixing this problem long-term by winning back majorities in the legislature, and then we can pick a different Secretary of State.
Secretary Bellows has responded to the calls for her impeachment, saying she was only doing her job and following the law.
If the legislature realizes that the law is overbroad or unclear, or they want to change what I'm allowed or required to do, change the law. But this precedent of targeting someone for doing their job under the Constitution and the law, that's a very dangerous precedent. I hope we're not headed into an era of impeachment motions every other day against political opponents.
Now, there are still several procedural stages the proposed inquiry would have to go through in order to be voted on by the House. The second legislative session of the 131st Maine legislature begins on Wednesday. And Maine workers who make just minimum wage got a pay raise. Our Matthew Juronsik has more on the increase that went into effect today.
A new year means a new baseline pay for many Mainers, with the state's minimum wage increasing to $14.15.
I think it's about time. It's been a long time coming.
It's gonna make more people want to get out and work, and we'll finally have people that are not low staffed and everything.
The 35-cent per hour increase reflects a required annual adjustment based on the cost of living index for the Northeast region, which saw a 2.4% increase last year.
Everybody's struggling these days, and I think it'll make a big difference, especially around this area.
And those making minimum wage say it's a welcomed increase.
That little increase will definitely make my life easier to help pay my bills.
In addition to the minimum wage boost, the state's tip wage for employees whose primary compensation is through tips will increase to $7.08 per hour.
People that wait all the time, they bust their ass, and they just getting by, just surviving. So I think those tips is going to help out a lot.
It's a bump in pay that comes as inflation still remains high.
Because right now everything's so crazy expensive. It's just hard to survive.
Other people are thinking starving, trying to get by, with the minimum wages now. So I think it'd be good that when it gets higher.
In Bangor, Matthew Juronsik, ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
We do also want to let you know about a crash late this afternoon that's knocked power out to a significant number of Bangor residents. According to Bangor Police Lieutenant Wade Betters, a vehicle traveling on Main Avenue near Hay Street left the roadway and struck a utility pole, breaking it around 4:15 p.m. That crash knocking out power to 1,643 customers, according to Versant Power's outage map. It's unclear whether anyone was injured in that crash or how long it will take to get the power back on, but we will keep you updated as we learn more. All right, and looking outdoors, starting our new year off on a chilly note, let's take a turn now and get a first check of our forecast.
All right, Happy New Year to you and your family. A bit cool out there today with temperatures hanging out in the mid-20s across much of the area. Tomorrow, same story. In fact, a cooler week ahead for us into the weekend. A bit breezy out there today as well. Winds out of the west around 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained throughout the afternoon. Gave us feel-like temperatures for a while in the single digits earlier today. Lots of clouds and some clear skies. Clouds and clear skies. Overall, we'll call it partly cloudy to mostly clear skies across our region for tonight. It's going to be a nice quiet evening, and really there's no rain or snow in our forecast anytime soon. A quiet week of weather ahead. Our forecast ends tonight, though, is mostly clear skies, temperatures hanging out in the teens. Your full forecast is coming up.
Alrighty, Jeff, thank you. And coming up on ABC 7 News at 6, as we begin the new year, we'll take a look back at some of the most impactful events to close out the year 2023 in Maine. Stay tuned for that story and more.
With the University of Maine system education, graduates are soaring to new heights in careers that improve all of our lives. UMS graduates are working in our woods, preserving these giants for future generations, providing life-saving care to our most fragile, and shaping policy to advance democracy for all of us. The University of Maine system, setting students on the path to success.
Jamar Construction Products in Bangor continues to grow to meet our customers' needs, supplying products for site work contractors, concrete contractors, and survey and safety supplies. We are proud to be the local dealer for Hilti, Valley Blades, U.S. Fabrics, and Euclid Chemical, plus so much more. Stop by and see us at 1270 Hammond Street, or give us a call at 907-4491. If you dig it, pour it, plow it, fasten it, lay it, or lift it, Jamar Construction Products can help you.
Hi folks, this is Barry Gass of Gass Horse Supply and Western Wear in Orono. We've been in business since 1911, and our third-generation family-owned business can't wait to show you our unique line of Western wear and Western tack. We have Western boots, shirts, hats, belts, and buckles for the entire family, and Western tack from bridles to saddles and everything in between for your horse.
Gass Horse Supply and Western Wear, where the American West comes alive in Maine.
What I've learned over my 17 years in pharmacy is that every medication has a potential to affect every person differently. That was evident with my own mother. The medications were hindering her ability to think quickly. It did feel a little premature to stop driving, but it was the right thing to do. My message to Mainers would be never doubt the potential side effects. Talk to a loved one about your ability to drive safely.
Hanks Husqvarna is your full-line Husqvarna dealer with 2 convenient locations, 32 Old State Road in Carmel and 19 Moosehead Trail in Newport. Whether it's tractors and zero-turns, chainsaws to trimmers, or pressure washers to snow blowers, everything is set up, serviced, and ready to go by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or sales, stop in to Hanks Husqvarna, Carmel or Newport.
Happy New Year from ABC 7.
Welcome back. As we begin a brand new year, we're taking a look back on some of the stories and events that took place around Maine at the end of 2023. Tonight, we revisit the top news stories from November and December. Our Jody Hersey gives us a look.
In November, President Biden and the First Lady visited Lewiston to honor and remember the 18 people who were killed and those who were injured in a mass shooting in that city in October. The President and First Lady also met with first responders, medical personnel, and others on the front lines.
Because regardless of our politics, this is about protecting our freedom to go to a bowling alley, a restaurant, a school, a church, without being shot and killed.
Also in November, a Portland man was found guilty of murder. Raymond Lester had been charged with the murder of his ex-girlfriend, Nicole McKemmy, whose body was found in Acadia National Park after an apparent hit and run in June of 2022. Before appearing in court, Lester had attempted to flee the country for Mexico. A new ferry being built to serve Matinicus Isle will be named after a member of the Penobscot Nation who served as a combat medic during the D-Day invasion. Charles Norman Shea was living on Indian Island when he was drafted during World War II. He is believed to be the last living Native American who stormed the beaches of Normandy.
It doesn't matter whether you're Local 6, 1490, any union brother or sister that needs any help on the front line fighting for a fair contract, we're there.
Employees at the Woodland Pulp Mill in Baileyville took to the picket lines in November, fighting for an increase in wages. An agreement was eventually reached after a month-long negotiation between the mill and union representatives. In December, a Robbinston woman pled guilty to murder in Washington County. 43-year-old Rebecca Moores pled guilty to the murder of 53-year-old Paula Johnson in February of 2022. Johnson was found dead in her home in Pembroke. The state recommended a 32-year sentence to the Department of Corrections for one count of intentional and knowing murder. Also in Washington County, 2 suspects were on trial accused of killing a Perry woman. Donald Dana and Kaylee Brackett were accused of murdering Kimberly Neptune in April of 2022. Jurors found Kaylee Brackett guilty of murder. However, the jury was deadlocked and a mistrial was declared when it came to Donald Dana.
He was never about awards. He was always about helping people. That was what he was about.
Former Holden Police Chief Chris Greeley was honored posthumously with the Spirit of America Award, which recognizes individuals who go above and beyond to make their communities better. Mother Nature wreaked havoc on the state throughout December. Mainers braced for several storms, including one just a week before Christmas. Numerous trees were toppled and hundreds of power lines came down as the region was ravaged and household after household hunkered down without power.
We have challenging days ahead, but we will get through this.
I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news tonight, Literacy Volunteers of Bangor helps adults learn to read, write, and better speak English. However, more volunteers are always needed at the nonprofit in order for it to continue its mission. Literacy Volunteers is currently looking for a few helping hands to volunteer at Bangor on Tap, which will be held at the Cross Insurance Center next month. The nonprofit will receive a $30 donation for every volunteer shift worked at the event. Most volunteers will assist at brewery stations throughout the gathering and therefore must be 21 years of age or older. Literacy Volunteers says it's hoping to cover 25 shifts, so the more volunteers it has, the better. Cindy Duell says the nonprofit changed her life.
I can read prescriptions now. I can read stuff at the grocery store. I can read instructions on a bag to cook something. My life is awesome.
If you'd like to volunteer at Literacy Volunteers or donate your time for a shift at the Bangor on Tap event to benefit the nonprofit, you can give the organization a call at 947-8451 by January 12th or send in an email to info@lvbangor.org. Certainly a great organization there. All right, well, coming up in sports, how Cooper Flagg feels about him and his brother Ace's homecoming games in Portland this weekend. We'll have that story coming up.
My father started a roofing company in the 1970s.
Back when asbestos was still commonly used in Maine.
When George was diagnosed with mesothelioma, we knew there wasn't a cure yet, but we knew he needed help.
We called Joe Bornstein's office because this family means business.
Their team is handling everything, representing Mainers who were victims of asbestos exposure.
We highly recommend the law offices of Joe Bornstein.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
Hi friends, I'm Jim Culberson, president of New England Bible College and Seminary. Do you sense the call to become more fully equipped to serve Christ? We offer accessible, affordable education ranging from early college for high school students to standalone classes, 4-course certificates, and degree programs for adults. Courses can be taken in person or online. Visit us today at nabc.edu.
George and Heidi use Verizon for their mobile service. Dan and Tina have Spectrum Mobile. Both couples have 2 lines and both get unlimited data and nationwide 5G. But there's a big difference. With Verizon, George and Heidi pay way more.
That's too much. Way too much.
Plus taxes.
And fees.
With Spectrum, Dan and Tina get 1 unlimited mobile line for $29.99 and their second line free. All with no added taxes and no hidden fees. Start saving way more. Visit SpectrumMobile.com, a Spectrum store, or call 844-517-2999 today. Dan and Tina save big. Over $1,500 in savings.
Really?
Spectrum Mobile has the fastest wireless speeds, and they get reliable coast-to-coast service with a connection they can count on. So George and Heidi, what do you think?
We're switching to Spectrum.
Switch to Spectrum Mobile and get one unlimited line for $29.99 and get your next line free for a year. Visit SpectrumMobile.com, a Spectrum store, or call 844-517-2999 today.
Who likes to drink good coffee? At Carabassa Coffee Company, we roast premium quality coffee beans from all over the world. Roasted to perfection in small batches, our coffee is always fresh. We offer a large selection, including our specialty blends, organics, single origins, decaf, and flavor. Whether you like light, medium, or dark roasts, we have coffee to suit every taste. We offer flat rate shipping for online orders, and we ship fast. Carabassa Coffee Company. Drink good coffee.
Now, with so much on the line, more Americans are turning to David Muir and ABC's World News Tonight than any other newscast across all of television.
Hey everybody, Ryan Soudal here. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy New Year. Let's start with what's set to be one of the bigger events in Maine this year already, the main event. Friday and Saturday's homecoming games down in Portland for Cooper Flag, Ace Flag, and Montverde Academy basketball. It starts Friday at 7:30 with a game at the Cross Insurance Arena against nationally ranked Gonzaga Prep. And then Saturday at 6, the Eagles will face Boston Cats Academy at the Expo Center. It'll be the first time the Flags will play a high school game in Maine since their 2022 state title run with Nokomis. Talking to Cooper about it last month, he can't wait to return home.
I'm very excited, obviously, coming back to the home state. We know what the support's going to look like. We know what the fans are going to look like, how everyone's going to show up and be there. I think it's going to be electric, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to, just having a blast and just seeing all the sport back in Maine.
Cannot wait for that. Okay, now it's time to look forward. It's a new year, and that means new opportunities for our local teams and stars to make it theirs. And I've got 4 athletes and teams that I think are going to make a splash in 2024. Let's start with 8th-ranked Maine men's hockey and a newcomer to Orono who has come into his own as of late. Forward Harrison Scott, a junior transfer from Bentley, was already one of the best face-off guys in the conference, but lately he's been on a roll, putting up a point in 6 of his last 8 games and 2 goals at this past weekend's Ledyard Classic, where he showed his natural finesse. There's another look at that goal, great behind the back one there. And add that with his insane motor, and all things are adding up for him to come into his own even more in the new year. Okay, now for another UMaine player, Black Bear Women's Hoops Sarah Talon, the sophomore and Wyndham native, has started all 14 games and has been such a valuable role player for the team this year. She's fun to watch with a great intensity and drive. Plus, she put up a season-high 14 points against Penn on Saturday. Could be a huge spark for her as the Black Bears enter America East play. Now for a team to watch, Brewer Girls Hoops. The Witches open the year with a comeback win over Hamden Academy. They have since gone 1-4, but those losses have been close and against great teams like Skowhegan and Camden Hills. What they lack in size, they make up for in talent with players like Allie Flagg and Jill Ford averaging in double figures. They have yet to reach their full potential and are primed to be Class A sleepers. Finally, a boys player to watch, Hamden Academy's Zach McClellan. The high-flying USM commit was already considered one of the state's best, but he showed something that will prove key in the new year over the weekend, his clutch gene. Down 1 against Coney, he hit this runner at the horn to win the game and move the Broncos to 3-1 on the year. Watch out for him to continue this, especially when there are close games aplenty as the season rolls on. Okay, that's all the time we have for sports. Here's Jeff Weller with your full 5-day forecast.
All right, thank you very much. Happy New Year to you and your family. Okay, a pretty cool day across our region for today with highs only in the mid-20s. This is, though, what the atmosphere is supposed to do this time of year, and we're going to keep things pretty cool across our area all this week. This is a small change, though, from yesterday at this time, about 5 degrees colder. Also, a gusty west wind kicked in today, giving us feel-like temperatures in the single digits throughout the day today. Right now, the winds out of the west around 5 to 10 miles per hour. This will pull back a little bit tonight, but overall, we're going to keep things breezy tonight and breezy throughout the day tomorrow, with high temperatures back in the 20s tomorrow. That's giving us feel-like temperatures right now, though, in the teens in the Bangor area, and a few single digits to the west of us. That, though, will likely overspread the area tonight. We will keep some low temperatures tonight in the teens with feel-like temperatures in the single digits this evening. Okay, so the cooler temperatures have arrived. Nothing really cold, but cooler at least, right? That will be sticking around for us pretty much into next weekend. So if you wanted much warmer temperatures, they're not on the way. We actually have a cool down entering the picture for us this week and next week as well. All right, so snow on the ground now. Here we are, New Year's Day 2024, with less than an inch of snow on the ground in most regions. That's not normal, and there's not a lot of snow in our forecast for us anytime soon. We had lots of clear skies out there today, some clouds and clear skies, press repeat. Overall, though, tonight, mostly clear skies across the entire region. That will allow for that radiational cooling, and that's going to give us those cool temperatures tonight, pretty much hanging out in the mid-teens for lows. And then overall, though, the storm track has shifted. There's one to our south right now and one to our north, and overall, we're in a happy spot in between, and we're going to keep things mostly dry around here. Our next chance for meaningful probably rain or snow, not until probably Sunday into Monday of next week, as there's a series of systems out here now that will likely bring the West Coast some really bad weather beginning tomorrow. But overall for us, we'll mostly dry across our region going forward. Our forecast ends tonight, though, looking at lots of clear skies out there. Low temperatures pretty much in the mid-teens for lows tonight, and a calm wind after midnight for a short time. For tomorrow, all right, so lots of sunshine around tomorrow. High temperatures back up in the low to mid-30s in a few spots briefly, then dropping throughout the afternoon. You're going to feel that southwest wind, though. It could gust near 20, making that 35 feel much colder. And then looking ahead, your 5-day forecast shows a story, right? 35 tomorrow, 39 for us on Wednesday, partly cloudy skies, low temperatures in the 20s. Thursday, 33, lots of clouds around. Friday, back in the 20s. We're going to hang out there most likely Saturday into Sunday of next weekend.
All righty, Jeff, thank you. And there's still more to come after the break. Stay with us.
Do you have a wet basement, nasty crawl space, settling foundation, sinking concrete, or clogged gutters? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems, all things basement-y. For over 30 years, thousands of homeowners throughout Maine and southeastern New Hampshire have trusted TC Hafford. Basement waterproofing, crawl space repair, stabilizing foundations, concrete leveling, and gutter installation. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems for all things basement-y.
Nobody likes to talk about health insurance. It's complicated, expensive, and stressful. But when you join Community Health Options, you have real Mainers in your corner. People who not only know how hard it is out there, but who genuinely want to make it all easier. Easier to enroll, easier to understand, easier to pay for. Because when you put people over profits, life is just better. Enroll today at healthoptions.org.
Maine QuitLink offers free help to stop smoking and vaping, including personalized quit plans and free patches, gum, and/or lozenges with every program. Get connected to a quit coach, trained to develop a plan that works for you. Learn how to curb cravings and overcome slips and relapses. It's free, it works, and people who enroll are 2 times more likely to successfully quit. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW or enroll online at mainequitlink.com.
The holidays are winding down.
Coming through.
Time to recharge with a new Toyota during the final days of Toyotathon.
You could get an adventure-seeking RAV4 gas model with $1,000 financing cash. Toyota, let's go places.
Does your dream kitchen look like this? Or this? Or maybe you need a little more inspiration. Get it when you explore the complete in-store showroom displays at Hammond Lumber Company. When you find the look you like, the Hammond team will help you customize it, including accurate 3D renderings, so you can visualize your project before the work begins. Hammond offers delivery from any of the locations across Maine and New Hampshire and professional service after the sale. Your dream kitchen begins when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
Welcome back, everyone. As we kick off the new year, some families are celebrating the new year with a new arrival. Keely Richardson is the first baby of 2024 born at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center in Bangor. Keely made an early morning arrival at 12:21 and weighs 6 pounds and 15 ounces. Congratulations to parents Jared and Alexis Richardson. Also, Maine Health welcomed its first baby of the new year exactly 1 hour later. Leaf McFarland was born at 1:21 this morning, weighing in at 7 pounds and 9 ounces. His parents, Kaylee McFarland and Cameron Miller of Union, say they're excited for him to join his 2-year-old sister, Ember. So big congrats to all the newcomers this new year, and we hope that everyone watching is kicking off their 2024 with a great start. All right, well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back here at 11 o'clock.